DIY.
DIYers, do you remember about 2 years ago, we started to cover this story about Beanie Sigel, the legend, being open to the idea of using AI technology to replace his permanently damaged vocal cords. Now, we did a few different stories about this because he talked about it in some interviews dating back to 2023. Well, he recently released a music video for a song that I believe dropped in July of this year with D. Jones, with Jadakiss, showing his use of AI for his voice on a song called Motion Picture. Now, I missed it when it dropped, but I just saw this music video and just heard his verse. But before we get to that, let me refresh your memory. This is an interview that popped up that we reacted to some years ago. But here's Beanie Sigel talking about just his openness to the idea. And I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say about it.
New project coming soon.
Okay.
I think I found my best friend. I think I found a good friend with this AI thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of people frown on AI, but I think that's going to work out for me. Yeah, I had a colorful life, so I've been through things that hindered my...
So you finna say the AI got you sounding like beans back then, that's what you saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Real soon, too.
Okay. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The AI finna be a game changer, a life changer, right?
Yeah, it's definitely for me. Like a lot of people that I've seen, they be frowning upon it. Like, I'm like, oh, so how can I use that? So I was talking to somebody and they told me how you program the AI, you run the vocals through there. So y'all want that old, what they say, the old beans? Because the pen's still there. It's just the voice. So if y'all want that, yeah, I'm gonna shoot y'all something, man. So I'm gonna use AI on myself.
Interesting thing that we definitely had to cover when it happened because, you know, at the time, and it still really is, there's a complicated relationship between the audience and it seems like a lot of the OGs in hip hop and their use of AI, and then even the way that corporations are using AI to basically claw through the internet and use it for machine training without the permission of the artist. However, this is one that I see on the internet having a pretty positive feedback or pretty positive reception because, you know, he was involved in an unfortunate incident, an incident that he could not predict would happen himself that affected his God-given gift. Now, he also not only had a God-given gift in his voice, but it also in his pen. And what if he still, which I'm sure, still has stories that he wants to share? Do we just let that go by the wayside and say tough luck? Well, with the use of AI, and I'm assuming with the use of really voice manipulating and machine training, he put himself in a position to where we get to hear what that sounds like. I remember there was a video that was circulating that showed him in a car, and he kind of showed it there, but you couldn't get the full effect. Well, what better way than on a song with Jadakiss? They've come a long way. D. Jones and K. Gibbs on a song called Motion Picture. We get to hear it, and he just so happens to be the last verse. So I'm like, hey, what the hell? Let's go ahead and react to this. It just dropped. It's not replacing his creativity. It is giving his creativity a new voice. Beep it out.
All this come up is a blessing. Behind the 2 trucks is baddies in the Tesla. I heard through all of this, God gave
I think Beanie Sigel's up next.
All this come up is a blessing.
Yeah, since a young and all I ever been was silent. I rose from the dirt without a stain on my collar. Been getting cash money since baby was pushing prime. Fake friends like full court, they changed for a dollar.
Hey, come on, wait a minute. It's sounding good. I think the first few bars, just judging the AI in itself, I could tell it was doing a little kind of odd pitch bending situation, but it does sound like a very vibrant and young Beanie Sigel. Like that's the voice so many of us, when we talk about feel it in the air, we talk about state property, like that's it. That's him in his essence. It sounds really good. I'm surprised.
Only roll with young demons with my bloodline. All I gotta say is eating you a plate and it's crumb time. Yeah, listen to me, family. I'm connected to the street and all the youngest understand. Make them slide through your block and that bombed out cam with a switchy on the swing. Quick to give it to your man. Yeah, shit get different over here. We ain't missing over here. Yeah, we blessing over here.
Payment expensive, that's
Hey, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Once again, that's D Jones, Jadakiss, Beanie Sigel, and K Gibbs. Beanie sounding fresh on this one. This is sounding good. You know, I like many folks were very curious about what that's going to sound like because, you know, whenever you started to see some of these remixes that are put up anonymously by, you know, folks who were doing these mashups and versions of songs by artists that never actually existed, it always sounded a bit like flimsy. It sounded, the voice didn't carry, I guess, the full weight of their actual rapping, singing, or speaking voices. But this is pretty well done, you know, and it makes me wonder what that process looks like. I assume there was a lot of training that had to go into it, but this shows you that there's a better way to do it, especially when you have the permission of the artist and the artist has an opportunity now that maybe before doctors were telling them, yeah, there's no way that your voice can withstand the output that you once enjoyed, right? The presence that you once enjoyed. It's got to be an amazing feeling to know that, look, my pen never stopped working and I still got stories that I feel like people can relate to, people can be helped by. I tell you this, there's nothing dangerous. There's nothing more dangerous than a rapper that is having a second chance to tell their story. And with the use of this technology, I'm really, really intrigued to see what else he has to say because, man, I know a lot of folks were counting him out when they heard his voice in interviews. This is really well done. This is really well done. DIYers, I'm curious. What do you think of this? I know we got a really, really weird relationship here when it comes to anything AI related, but I think this is a little bit more unique than usual, right? This has it to where not only do we get to hear his voice again in the way that he wants his voice to be heard, but it gets to extend his career, right? Him even being in a music video, him being, you know, I really want to see how this works out in a live setting. That would be really, really interesting if there's a way for him to, you know, the same way that auto-tune is able to be manipulated in a live scenario, they should be able to have it to where his voice can have a real-time reaction where you don't hear his voice, but it's somehow filtered into whatever the AI voice is. I don't know. I'm thinking of it off the top of my head, but it was really well executed, and I'm definitely excited to hear more music from Beanie Sigel. DIYers, what are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments.